Hi guys, it's Penelope in London. Today we're looking at today's chart, and then I'm going to show you my own chart on solar fire and what happened to my Mercury, so that you can equate it to your own chart and understand how ultimately what astrology is that when we look at astrology and we look at a chart, astrology is ultimately a bunch of symbols and timings and mathematical calculations. And the question is, Simon Vorster told me this, who was mentoring me with my evolutionary astrology over quite a number of years, that he pointed out that the question is, what are you feeling in relationship to that? So you look at your chart and what are you feeling in relationship to that? And when you make sense of that, then you know what the astrology is telling you. So as an example would be that, we could cross the road in various different ways. So when we look at a chart, we're able to understand, we look at what we're feeling, and then we look at the chart, and the chart will speak to us, and we can see our own evolution through a chart. Definitely through solar fire, I've been absolutely, mind blown when I've gone back to events in my past and looked at certain where the symbols were and the aspects of a particular time, like huge events. If you go back, you can see it play out on a chart, like how the planets are dancing with each other and our soul is dancing with the energies of the chart and the meaning. So what we have today, this is today's chart. So let me get my pointer so you can see. So here we have today's chart. And we can see that the sun is just 2 degrees of Pisces, the moon here. So the sun is here, it's in Pisces for the next, 30 days. We've got the moon, 10 degrees of Gemini. The moon takes 2.5 days to move through a sign. So we can see the moon here in Gemini. It's at 10 degrees. My moon is 17 degrees of Gemini. So I have that every month, the moon will conjunct our own moon. We've got Mercury at 11 degrees of Aquarius retrograde. In 2 days, or in maybe 36 hours, it's going to go direct. It's been retrograde for 3 weeks at that point. Venus is also in Aquarius at 23 degrees. We got Mars in Taurus, 23. And we've got Jupiter, 14 degrees of Aquarius, halfway through. Throughout, when it gets to around May, I believe it's going to retrograde. So what will happen is Jupiter will go forward. I think it dips into Pisces and then it goes all the way back again. So Jupiter is really in the sign of Aquarius until the end of this year. So that's another one you would like to understand on your own chart, what that's doing in your chart. Jupiter is truth, it's law, it's higher education, it's religion, it's spirituality, it's dogma, it's teaching, overseas travels. So then we have Saturn at 7 degrees of Aquarius here. And again, that will go direct for it's 2.5 years through a sign on average. Saturn is our restriction, but Saturn will in May go I think it goes to 13 degrees if I recall, and then it will go retrograde back to 6, and then it will go forward again. So again, that's another one to look out for. And Uranus is in Taurus here. This is changing our monetary system and the way we deal with our resources, because Venus is to do with our inner needs. When it's in Taurus, it's our inner world, our morals, our values, and inner needs. And then we've got Neptune, which is beyond this realm. This is 19 degrees of Pisces. That's on my IC at the moment because my IC is 20 degrees. And Pluto, ultimately in Capricorn, it's the last couple of years of that remaining in the sign of Capricorn. When it entered Capricorn in around 2008, we had the financial crisis, and this is dealing with patriarchal rule and the breaking down of patriarchal rule, and we're going into a new time of individuation, as Pluto will, when it hits into Aquarius, it will be there till 2044. So if we look at a couple of aspects of the chart of today and the current aspects, we do know that we've got the moon trine to Mercury. So you can see the moon. The moon moves quickly, though. It is trine to Mercury at the moment. It's in a nice trine. Venus is square to Mars, and Saturn is square Uranus, and Saturn is sextile to Chiron. So these are tight. they're the strong aspects, right, of today, of this moment, the 20th of February. And we've got other aspects that will be, you know, moving on in. So we can see this square. If we look at the Saturn square Uranus, you know, this is, we can have rich rewards with this, but it's through conflict. So tension is conflict, and conflict ultimately helps us to grow and develop. Most of us don't like conflict. We all want an easy life, but it's like going to the gym. If you work out and you keep working a particular muscle, then it's going to grow. But you know, the conflict is having to go to the gym, having to work out, having to pick up a weight, but also conflict can bring creative tensions and rich rewards for us. Saturn is to do with the restriction and structure, and Uranus is to do with revolution and breaking free of limitations. So with Saturn in this square to Uranus, there is a need to break free from the old. You know, there's a need to break free from the old, the outworn rules and traditions, and we're working with authority. You know, at this time can turn out to be very more difficult than expected. We're seeing that play out in society. There's polarization, is the order of the day at the moment, with, you know, the new isn't gradually replacing the old. And we're going to see that for the whole totality of this year, because that square, Saturn's going to go direct, and then it's going to go retrograde, where we rewind, review, release, and it will hit, this is square, it will go forward because Saturn moves faster than Uranus, and then it will go retrograde again, and then it will go forward again. So we've got that happening 3 exact squares, and this is the first one of this year. We've also got, although all of us, you know, have the attitude that we, you know, of wanting to do our own thing, we're going to have to also be accommodating to the circumstances that are around us in humanity, you know. And also, if we think of the Aquarian idea that we work together as a group, and we've all got our own side groups, and we're not all following the masses, and there's part individuation with this Uranian energy, and also genius thinking, but also it's to do with trauma and long-term memory. But there is potential here for an ultimate breakthrough, and that leads to a new order as we move through the whole year. But we can see with the dynamics of what's gone on, we've had a lockdown for a year coming up, and nobody knows, you know, where we're heading with certain things in society. I don't think I need to mention you know, those certain things are. We're all in the same boat on this one. So if looking at my chart, if you see this Mercury, it went back to 11 degrees. And if we go a little bit forward, then I'll show you my solar fire. So let's go forward by hours on this. We've got 11 degrees here, Mercury, 1102 retrograde. So if we go forward by hours, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6 hours, okay? And it's still at 11 degrees. So then let's take it 6 hours forward, because it's still retrograde. So we're going to go 6 hours forward, and then it stations. So you can see on this chart here, it's stationed at this point, and what the exact point would be, I'd have to do that on solar fire, but that's stationed. And then that's 1101, and then it goes, if we go 6 hours forward again, it's still in station, and 6 hours forward again, stationing still, and then station, and keep going. Hang on a minute, is this moving? Okay, so let's see. This is the 22nd of February. And there you go. It's out of station. I wanted to make sure that was moving. So then it's 11 degrees and it's out of, it's going to go direct. So it's going to go direct before the 23rd. I'm going to show you that. So that will actually be the 22nd in New York. This chart is UK time. So now I'm going to share with you my solar fire. And here, this is my chart. Okay, so this is the 20th of February. This is the chart I work when I work with people on their charts. We look at solar fire. We can look at different aspects of, we can look at progressed charts. We can have a wheel where we're looking at 3 charts at once, the progressed and also the transits and our natal chart. So on the inner wheel is my natal chart. And let me get my pointer again. And here, hang on a second, I've just got that to look at. So then what we have is that we have this going on here. So this is my natal chart. And then what will happen is that Mercury is 1102. So here it's stationed, and this is the 20th of February. And if I go hours backwards, we're going to go back. So watch Mercury here. And what we've got is that then it's retrograde. Okay. So it's literally on this chart, it's showing, which is probably far more accurate, I would say. We've got 20th of February. This is 1 o'clock UK time, and 1 a.m. Then we go forward, it's stationed, and we're going hours forward, and it's in a station. And it comes, then it's coming out of the station. And then I'm going forward, you can see, then it's gone, at this point, it's gone direct. So this will be the 21st in America, New York and California. And if you're Australia, then it's going to be the following day. And because we've got, they're ahead, or actually it might be the same day because of the time in the morning, it will be the 22nd as well. So what's going on in this chart? So what am I feeling? This is how we look at astrology. So what happened was, for me, beautifully, this, when it went retrograde, it started going retrograde. We're going to go back by days now, and I'm going to show you what happened. So we're going to go back 3 weeks. We're going to go back 21 days, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and watch the Mercury. So Mercury, there you go. Mercury was at 2614 degrees. Okay. This is my Black Moon Lilith, and Black Moon Lilith is true. This is Black Moon Lilith true. This is our resolution to the other Liliths in the chart. You may not know a lot about that, but I made a video on Lilith briefly as I learn about her. And it's the Black Moon Lilith applies to the male and the female. It doesn't matter, that a man still has this energy in him. Black Moon Lilith is where we resolve our shadow side, and mine is at 22 degrees Aquarius. Then we've got Black Moon, we've got Lilith, the asteroid. When Lilith in the asteroid is where she went crazy. She refused to lay below Adam in the Garden of Eden. And then we've got all of these, my planets on the inside. So you can see that if you look at this that's only there. This asteroid is called Penelope, and I put that on my chart because for me, this was quite significant that this asteroid called Penelope was landed on my Neptune when I was born at exactly the same minute, which fascinates me. So I've been doing some research on what that means for me. I've got my South Node. All of this is on my ascendant, Scorpio rising. So you need your time so that you can understand what your rising sign is, because the rising sign changes every couple of hours. What we then have is that currently, also I've got Pluto, Uranus on my MC. So this means I'm working with psychology, and I'm also working with computers and sharing information. And I'm working with others because I've got my sun and moon in my 7th house. And then my work is being of service in the world, the North Node, Mars and Mercury, all about communicating stuff. And then also my Venus is being creative. So, and then I've got my wound, my childhood wound was on the Chiron on the IC, shows that my heavily hypersensitivity and wounding was from my childhood home. And we all have imprints from childhood, but we have different types of abuses that go on, and the Chiron aspect will show what we've suffered and our hypersensitivity, and Saturn shows where we're restricted. So not everybody has this. People could have Saturn in another house and Chiron somewhere else. So everybody's individual. It's a beautiful story when we begin to see the blueprint of our life. So that Mercury, what was fascinating for me, if you look, this was square when it went, the moment before it went retrograde, it was squaring my AC and squaring my MC, but it was also square to my North Node, to my Mars, to my Mercury, and also just about it being over my Lilith, and then it's going to go back over there. I have currently this Neptune on my IC, and as this moves through my 4th house, it's dissolving any childhood trauma I had, and also the likelihood that I'm probably to move towards living near water, and which I have a desire to do. I have a desire to be near the sea, a body of sea, and I have a desire to be in a different part of the world. I want a new home, and this is what's going on for me. And I've got Jupiter at this point also in the last week, which moved into my 3rd house, which means that, you know, I'm going to be looking at probably writing and my publishing. So the chart is beautiful. It's what we're feeling. And also the other thing that happened to me on the 5th of February, in the 5th of February last year, I had a infection and I had to take some antibiotics, and the same thing happened this year. So I did some investigating into my psyche of what am I feeling that brings this about, you know, about the same type of year, because I had to have antibiotics on the 5th of February 2021, and I became aware that I had an infection and I needed antibiotics, and in fact, it was January 22nd, I was given some antibiotics and I had to take those. So we can see this stuff play out in our astrology. Our feelings, you know, can be a direct thing, you know, whilst we pick up allergies and things like that, and our cortisol levels. And when we become unwell, generally it's just that our immune system is really hit low and we become susceptible to, you know, ailments and things. So, and particularly for those that have been through lots of trauma, you know, in childhood, and even as adults, people who've been through trauma, the immune system gets a hit of having the strength of the immune system, you know, is affected through cortisol levels and the adrenals, which is another thing. But it's worth understanding that, you know, the healthier our immune system is, you know, clearly we have free will, and there are events that at the same time that are going to floor us, you know, that are going to affect our immune system. So it's not really only to do with us, it's also to do with what we see and what we feel about things and how we work through our own internal pain. And the healthier we get and the more we look at our shadow, generally the immune system will begin to get healthier as well, which is worth knowing. You know, nothing's written in stone, but this is an idea. So then if I go days ahead, so we remember I have this square. So this is tension to what's going on in my life, on my, what am I thinking? And it's in my 3rd house for me. So this was about, you know, my communication, short journeys, and, you know, what I'm feeling, because the Mercury in the 3rd house is very subjective. It's about what I feel about things as well. So then if we go, let's say, I'm going to go hours ahead actually, and then I'll jump days. So if I go hours ahead, then we had Mercury, I'm going forward, and then you can see here that it's going forward. And then what's going to happen is that it's going to station. You can see here it's stationed at 26. And then it began to, you can see station there, here still. So this is what we're looking for on charts to tell our story. And then it went retrograde, okay? That was the 31st of January I've got on this chart. And then for me, so then we've got days, and I'm going to go forward. So it's gone back 3 weeks. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. This is today. So it's gone back to my 2nd house. It was in the 3rd. 2nd house. What is the 2nd house? It's values. It's my inner needs. It's my morals. It's my belief system about myself, around my own values and morals. It's my beliefs about what I need for myself and what I value. So in this, going back into my 2nd just briefly, because you can see my 2nd house is 12 degrees 45 of Aquarius. It means that I've gone back over something. I've gone Mercury retrograde. All retrogrades are rewind, review, and release. So I've gone back and I've looked at something, and then it's going to go forward. So I've got what I've needed from this Mercury retrograde. I was feeling something which was in part responsible for my thinking and feeling around a particular subject. meant that my immune system took a little bit of a bashing, and then I got this infection, and then I got, my body rejected the antibiotics. I got an allergy and I had to call A&E, and then I was in A&E, and then I had to call an ambulance, and I had all of these things going on over the last few weeks. So now I'm trying to resolve, what is this allergy that I've had, which I've been working on to clear it. And I've, Mercury also in Aquarius, it's going to give us like genius moments or a flash of insight. So this is a beautiful thing. So I've had a flash of insight of what this meant for me, putting the pieces together in my own psyche. It's a very personal story, which I won't go into, but I'm just giving you an idea when you look at your chart. So for you, that could have happened in any house. And it would have meant something. And wherever it happened for you, it would have affected other planets. It would have affected, had made aspects to your planets. So what's going to happen for me now? This is the 20th, and then we're going to go forward by days. So it's going to go forward. It's going to move back into my third house of communication. Then it's going to keep going forward. Then it's going to hit my Black Moon Lilith, which is my resolution. How am I resolving my past trauma and upsets as well, and my shadow? How am I reacting and communicating to the world? We've also got them, which is incredible. We've got Mercury. This here is asteroid Lilith. So that's also gone over my my Black Moon Lilith. Definitely I'm doing more work on that. So do see the video I made on that. You can find it in my about a week or so ago. Just look for that, search for Lilith on my channel. I've only got one video on Lilith there for now. And then the sun then is going to hit last year. This is Neptune, and this is the sun. So last year when I got COVID, which was the 10th of March, I actually had COVID for about 40 days in total. That was the first week of it. And I had this conjunction on my, I don't think it was on my IC, I'd have to look, but it was around there. And then, that took 40 days to heal. So it's fascinating how we can see things play out, and how our emotions and our actions and our emotions and our feelings all play in with the immunity of a human being, which makes common sense. It's like so obvious, but we can go and get to doctors, and these things aren't really asked overall. It's just we're looking at elements. We're not looking at the core of what's going on beneath the surface and in the psyche on these things. I wouldn't say that for all doctors, but I'm just giving you an idea. So let's go forward. First, we're going to go forward. This is the 9th of March, and that Mercury will be on my Lilith, the Black Moon Lilith true, and then it will keep going. So we'll take it through to when it moves into Pisces. It's 26 degrees there. And then the 27th, it will again square all of my planets here. So the tension is then going to be released. It's a, it's crisis, not crisis. We can all handle things, whatever, but tension, it's a feeling of crisis inwardly. But we're resolving something. We need that tension in order to evolve. And then we go 28, 29, then it's conjunct here, the Black Moon Lilith collectively. This is the collective chart on the outside. Then we can see all of the planets. So literally, I've got that beautiful Neptune moved into my 4th house. So I've got massive changes going on. I've had the Jupiter move into my 3rd. I've got Neptune moving into my 4th, and I've got also here, I've had my Mars return as well. Just go back and show you that. So Mars return happens here. It happens twice, only once every 2 years, which is a big shift in our direction of how we're being, our direct libido, not the sexual libido, but the libido of the psyche and our direction. So we mature through the chart. There's a lot more here to say, but now we're going to take this Mercury out of Aquarius, 26, 27, 28, 29, and there you go. And then it's in 16th, 15th, 16th, it will be in the sign of Pisces. and that will go through Pisces. So I'll leave it there. If you want help with this, subscribe to my channel, and also, any comments as well, let me know. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.